Hi, I'm Russell Eyrig from the Cincinnati Art Museum, and for today's Can Do, we're going to be making silhouette stories. Now, this project was inspired by the artwork of Carol Walker and our current special exhibition, Carol Walker Cut to the Quick. Now, a silhouette is just when we see the shape of something as a solid color without any of the details, kind of like a cast shadow. Carol Walker's art often uses silhouettes that seem to tell a story. She's often dealing with the historical horrors of slavery, but she also adds in elements of fantasy and make-believe. Her artwork is very open to interpretation, so the story that I see might not be the same story that you see. So for today's project, I want to challenge you to create a silhouette story that involves two characters and then a third element that's up to you. It could be an animal or an object or a piece of scenery. So I also want to challenge you to make some part of your story historical or based in fact, and another part fictitious or make-believe. So I'll show you how I made my silhouette story and walk you through my creative process. So for this project, you're going to need some black paper, some white paper that is at least the same size as your black paper, or could be bigger, something to draw with. I used a white pencil so you could see it easier on the black paper. You can use graphite, but it will be harder to see your lines. Some scissors for cutting. I also used an X-Acto knife on some trickier areas, and you might want to do the same, but just make sure to be safe and get help using the knife if you need it. And some type of glue. I used a glue stick. You'll also probably want some paper or a sketchbook to sketch out some ideas while you brainstorm. I actually used my iPad for this process because it helps me move things around as I'm thinking, but you can use whatever. It's just your brainstorming. You don't have to be perfect. I really recommend sketching as a way of brainstorming. My entire idea changed as I was sketching. I started thinking about Humpty Dumpty and the Wicked Witch, and when I decided I wanted there to be some kind of historical connection, then that turned into Abraham Lincoln and the Wicked Witch. But then I didn't really know how I wanted them to interact exactly. It was just kind of like, well, they both have tall hats. So then that ended with Lincoln and the man from Francisco Goya's painting, The 3rd of May. Oh, and a cobra in Lincoln's hat. So I encourage you to sketch multiple ideas and not get hung up on your first one. Sometimes your first idea is your best one, but it's usually not. My image also shifted from horizontal to vertical while I was sketching, so it's good to figure those things out before you start your final project. So after I had my sketch, I redrew it onto the black paper using my white pencil. Because my white paper is the same size, I tried to draw my figures in the same position and size that I wanted them to be in the final piece. Now, we are going to be flipping this image over. So the good thing is you can be sort of messy as you draw because this side will be glued to the paper. That also means that all of your images will be reversed from how you draw them. After I finish drawing all of my images, then I cut them out. Cutting each shape out from the page first will help keep the others from getting damaged while you're cutting, and it also makes it easier. I used scissors on the majority of my shapes, but I did get out my X-Acto knife for some of the tricky, tiny details like the cobra's tongue. After I had everything cut out, I spent some time moving my shapes around the paper just to make sure I liked how they looked before gluing them down. You still have some time to change your composition at this point. For instance, I ended up shifting everything a bit to the left from how I had originally sketched it. I used a glue stick because it's not going to wrinkle my paper like a white school glue might. After I had my pieces down, I realized I felt like I moved them too much to the left, so I used my ruler and X-Acto to trim up one side of that paper to balance out the composition. So that's another option you have. You can still crop your paper as well. So this is my final piece. So when you finish with your piece, think about what kind of story it's telling. Then show it to somebody else and see what kind of story they think it's telling. Because silhouettes leave so much to the imagination, it can be fun to see how our minds fill in those gaps. So I hope you have fun making your silhouette story, and I hope you'll share it with us in the comment section of this video.